and welcome back to another episode of the Rants of a Red Devil podcast, and it is another match preview. We are previewing the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea, being played later on. And this one takes a bit of an interesting, form, a bit of an interesting sort of approach to this one, with both teams effectively still chasing top four. So after this game, we play West Ham on Wednesday and then Leicester next Sunday, whereas Chelsea, they play Liverpool on Wednesday and then Wolves next Sunday. We've played obviously more recently than Chelsea. I think with us playing on Thursday night against Crystal Palace, and there was one or two players that looked a little leggy, a little tired, but I think that's to be expected. They've played a lot of games over a short space of time, and due to the lack of squad depth that we've got at the moment, like I've said before, that we saw in the game against Norwich in the quarter-final, Ollie hasn't been able to really rotate his squad. It's pretty much been same 11, off you go lads. So it's sort of inevitable that a few of them are going to look a little leggy. He's tried to give them rest where he can, getting the job done early, and pulling them off, like against Brighton and Sheffield United. But in the last couple of games, the Southampton game and the Palace game, he hasn't had the luxury of doing that because they've both been very close, very competitive games. So it'll be interesting to see how Ollie approaches this one, whether he rotates his squad, whether he mixes it up, and really sort of gives us the indication that top four is priority, or whether he's going to try and go for top four as well as winning the FA Cup. Obviously we'll find out when he announces the 11, but Chelsea are in that same boat as well, so they play us, and they've still got two very tough games, like we say, against Liverpool and against Wolves. There's a real possibility there that Chelsea don't pick up another point this season, which ultimately leaves their top four hopes in a little bit of trouble if obviously United and Leicester continue to pick up points. So Leicester play Spurs and obviously us on the last game of the season. So I mean, if they pick something up out of the Spurs game, we pick something up out of the West Ham game, and Chelsea fail to beat Liverpool, then it's all sort of top four scenarios changed. And then, like I say, the Wolves game isn't an easy game. They're capable of beating anybody on their day. So it'll be interesting to see how Frank approaches this game as well. Obviously, he's got the jinx of Ollie hanging over him, with Ollie having already beaten him 3 times this season in the 3 times that we've played him, twice in the league and once in the Carabao Cup. So he's got that sort of jinx hanging over him. He'll want to put that one right, but in doing that, he might go strong for this game and ultimately hurt himself in the remaining Premier League fixtures. So it'll be quite interesting to see how Frank approaches this one as well. I mean, we could have two sides going for it with their strongest 11s. We could have one side fielding a strong 11 another a week, or we could have effectively both teams playing their bit part players, which is sort of unprecedented in an FA Cup semi-final, with obviously what's on the line, that place in the final and the chance to compete for silverware. So it will be an interesting sort of game to see how he lines up, and it'll be interesting to see whether Solskjaer changes the shape again. So obviously playing this shape that we have since we've come back from lockdown, we've been quite successful. We've only dropped points against Southampton and Tottenham. We've looked pretty good in most games that we've played, like I say, just looking a little bit leggy in the last couple, but up to then we've looked pretty good in every game we've played, scoring freely. But for the big games this season, Ollie's tended to favour that 3 at the back, and it'll be interesting to see whether he does that again, and effectively set up as more of a counter-attacking team than one that's going to dominate possession, and really dictate the tempo of a game. I think we might see that to be honest. It's probably hampered a little bit with the injury to Shaw, but I think we might potentially see that back three again. So in terms of predicted starting 11, we might as well move on to that. So predicted starting 11, I think he's going to go. He hasn't given a definitive answer, but I think he's going to go Romero. He's cup keeper. I think he's gonna stick with Romero. Go Romero in goal. I think he's gonna favour that back three. So he's got a couple of options. He either plays Wan-Bissaka in that sort of inside right role, or he goes with Maguire, which he's going to play, Lindelof and Bailly, because they're his only fit centre backs. So I think that's probably the three that we're going to see: Maguire, Lindelof, and Bailly. I think we potentially see in that sort of right wing back position. I think it might be a run out for Diogo Dalot. Purely because offensively he's a little bit better than Wan-Bissaka, and Wan-Bissaka probably could do with a rest with obviously the two important Premier League games coming. So I think we'll potentially see Dalot at right wing back, and at left wing back Luke Shaw's already been ruled out because he would probably naturally play that left position of the back three. So I think providing he's fit and recovered from his head injury, Brandon Williams is going to play at left back. He's going to have the sitting player in Nemanja Matic. I think it'll be sort of the midfield trio with Nemanja Matic sitting. And I think he's going to go pretty strong. I think he's going to go with Bruno, even though he's looking a little leggy at the moment. I still think he's going to stick with him because when he ticks, United really do tick. I think he's going to go with Bruno, and I think he's going to go with Paul Pogba in sort of a midfield three. The final two positions, sort of the up top positions, I think he's going to give Rashford. I think he's going to continue to play Rashford and give Rashford the run. And I also think that Ighalo is going to get a start with his ability to hold the ball up. Now we've seen Martial improve massively in recent weeks in terms of holding the ball up. But I just think Ighalo is more natural at it, and Ighalo will obviously playing Ighalo will give Anthony Martial a bit of a rest. There's also the possibility for maybe if Pogba or Bruno don't play, to chuck Dan James in with his pace on the counter attack. But it like I say, it depends how Ollie's going to approach the game. I honestly believe he's going to go back to that back three, which sort of unsettles the forward positions a little bit, but it makes us a little bit more defensively solid. Especially when against Palace, we looked a little bit suspect at the back with Zaha really getting at Lindelof. I mean, if Pulisic has seen that and Pulisic plays, he's probably eyeing that as well. So I think he's definitely going to go with that back three. And obviously see where that goes from there. Before I hit and record, I sort of thought he'd probably toy with the idea of really playing a rotated squad, possibly bringing Juan Mata in and Jesse Lingard in, and possibly Andreas and Dan James. But I don't know. It's like with each minute that passes, my mind sort of says, oh, is he going to go with the back three, or is he going to just stick with what's working? Like I really can't predict how he's really going to approach this game, purely because of what's on the line in the league. I think if we got top four cemented, he'd just go strong, stick with what's working. But he's got to be very careful with what players he picks, looking ahead to the remaining two league games. So if this is a difficult one to call, and it's the same with the full-time score. So this morning when I woke up, I thought to myself, I probably can't see Ollie beating Frank 4 times in a season. Frank's going to work it out at some point, and they're going to get something. Chelsea will nick it. But as the day's gone on, and I've thought we're stronger defensively, we probably look better going forward, I'm going to lean on the side of United for this. And I think we're going to nick it 2-1. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. But I just think, when I look at the squads on paper and the sides on paper, I just think that that we look better. We look like we've got more at the back, and we look like we've got more going forward. And I just constantly think back to Ollie's records in big games this season, and they've been exceptional. And I just think that just bodes well for me. I think he's going to pull the rabbit out of the hat again, and he's going to turn up again in another big game and get his tactics spot on again in a big game like he's done all season. And if he does that, then that would be absolutely fantastic. I mean, it would be such a record for him to have be the first team to take points off Liverpool this season, to have beaten Chelsea 4 times, and to have beaten Man City twice in the league, once in the 3 out of the 4 times we've played them. It's not many managers that can say that they'll have done that all in one season. But yeah, I can just see him pulling another one out of the bag. I really can. And I think it's going to be a 2-1 United win. As always, after the game, there will be a written match review on site. You can check it out at rantsofareddevil.com, where we've also got tons of other United related content and opinions. If you do like these podcasts, if you watch them on YouTube, if you could hit that like button for the video, it really helps us out. And if you are watching them on YouTube or listening to them on Apple iTunes, if you could hit the subscribe button, because again, that will really help us out and we appreciate it massively. If you're not listening on either of those platforms though, you can get this podcast on Spotify, and you can also get all of the episodes on our website, as I say, rantsofareddevil.com. So thank you again for listening. Check out the match review after the game, and we hope it's a good one, another good one. We hope we're marching to the final of the FA Cup, and hopefully it's done in style. So until the next episode of this podcast, thank you again for listening, and we will see you in the next one.